It's 10 in the morning on Sunday, September 19th, 2021. My family and I are on the road and headed to Akron Northside Station in Akron, Ohio to see historic Nickel Plate Road No.765. After a year off due to the pandemic, 765 was back on the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad to pull the annual Steam in the Valley excursion train. We arrived at the station and found the train stopped, ready for passengers to board. Unfortunately, 765 was pulled further down the line and into the trees, likely due to the size of today's consist. Regardless of where 765 was, people still made their way to the head end for a close-up of the Berkshire. Nickel Plate 765 celebrated her 77th birthday on September 8th when she rolled out of the Lima Locomotive Works in Lima, Ohio, back in 1944. It was incredible to think how long this locomotive has served in its lifetime, pulling both freight and passengers over the years. Further back, we found the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society's maintenance and crew car. On the side bears the name of Glenn E. Brundell, the gentleman responsible for the Society's existence and the preservation of Nickel Plate 765. Without him and many other volunteers, 765 would never be where it is today. Originally, our plan was to catch footage of 765 pulling into the station first thing in the morning, but that move must have happened much earlier than we anticipated. So our new plan was to stick around Akron and watch as they returned from their first excursion around 1:30 in the afternoon. At 11 in the morning, the conductors made the final all-aboard call to the passengers. The northward-facing FPA-4 Alco blasted its horn twice for departure, and the excursion was bound for Deep Block Quarry. You might be wondering why 765 is being pulled at what we see as the rear of the train. 765 always faces south on the line. Since today's trip starts in Akron and travels north to Deep Block Quarry, the northward-facing Alcos pull the excursion northbound, while 765 will be seen later at the south end, pulling the excursion back into Akron. This wasn't the only footage we captured of 765. As a matter of fact, we were in the valley 1 week earlier to chase 765 and visit more locations along the route. So let's take a look back at that as we wait for 765's return to Akron. The day was Sunday, September 12th, 2021. My dad and I left the house later in the morning as we attempted to catch both 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. excursions this Sunday. We had a plan going into today's trip, having a few locations in mind on where we could stop and get the best angles of 765 throughout the day. We made our way into the valley a 11:15 in the morning from Smith Road. Our first stop was for Botzum Station to wait for 765 to return south sometime around 1 in the afternoon. With the current time in mind, I was very much aware that 765 was making its way north as we entered the valley. We just weren't sure where exactly on the route it would be. Unfortunately, the plan to stop at Botzum didn't work. We completely missed the entrance to the parking lot. But at the same time, I think we were glad we missed it. Not a few seconds later, and we hear and see the 11 a.m. excursion being pulled northbound. And just like that, our plans were thrown out the window. So we decided to pace the excursion north on Riverview Road and begin brainstorming for a new plan. We caught Cuyahoga Valley's FPA-4 Alcos, numbered 6771 and 6777 near Ira Road, pulling the excursion north, which deserved the attention as much as Nickel Plate 765. According to the dieselshop.us website, both of these units used to be ex-Via Rail Canada and Canadian National units. We decided to turn around and look for another place to set up. Instead of traveling to Botzum, we pulled into a much closer location called Howe Meadow. It's called Countryside Farmers Market if you're trying to find it on Google Maps, but most people refer to the place as Howe Meadow. This is one of a few locations along the route where barely any trees or objects are in the way of the rails, besides the fellow railfans nearby. I decided to set the camera up facing north on the line. Just around this bend in the tracks, about 1,500 feet from where we are standing, is Indigo Lake. This year, Indigo Lake serves as the excursion's run-by location. This is where passengers deboard the train to watch, film, and take pictures of 765 steaming by. Like in previous years, 765 will perform 2 run-bys, one fast and one slow. With our vantage point, we should be able to see the faster of the 2 run-bys as 765 screeches to a halt. Once they completed the run-bys and reboarded the passengers, I walked back to get a wider shot of 765 and all of the railfans who gathered to see the locomotive. Volunteers of the 765 crew and the sheriff were out to help close the gate to Howe Meadow so no cars or pedestrians would be in the way when 765 came back through. After a bit of waiting, we hear 765's whistle as she enters Howe Meadow and heads southbound for the return trip to Akron. Our next stop was the towpath crossing near Sand Run Metro Parks, 10 minutes north of Akron Northside Station. Sand Run is completely separate from the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, but it still connects with the Ohio and Erie Canal towpath trail. We decided to catch the 3 p.m. excursion as it heads northbound to give 6777 some love. Even with 765 being towed backwards, this was still a really cool shot. The final location is September 12th, would see us at Botzum Station. I'm really glad my dad and I decided to make the trip to Botzum after our early change of plans. The view from the platform was the best so far. 5:15 in the afternoon, I set the camera up facing northbound as we watched 765 throttling southbound towards Akron. And so, back to Sunday, September 19th at Akron Northside Station. As we waited, we stopped at the station to buy some shirts and merch to help support the society and add to our collection. Around 1:30 in the afternoon, we hear 765 throttling up the grade into Akron to complete the first excursion of the day. hope you enjoyed today's video of my trip to Steam in the Valley 2021. We are so grateful to live within hours of this event, and we can't thank the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society and Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad enough for putting this together for the railfans. From Akron Northside Station, this is Matt Chafee, signing off.